G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. This will be my very wet Knackers Yard. Look at the state of the weather out there. You can tell the kids have just started summer holidays, can't you? This is a vexed and annoyed Nat. I've got one of the pipes on. Now they're advertised as going from 36 to 48 mil, I think, diameter of the pipe. Bollocks, absolute bollocks. Even with all three of the packs in there, it's so loose. I've tried packing it out and it's just nowhere near, and it's just not a good fit, so they're going back. Also, one thing that, well, there's two things actually that are going to cock me out later, I'm sure. When I get the brake pedal on, it's too broad across the side here, so it's going to cuff the side of that exhaust. So I need something that's narrower at the beginning rather than straight pipes, which is frustrating. So I'm going to have to go for something semi like the originals, I think. The other bit that's vexed me on the exhaust front, where's my lunch, is, I mentioned this before, but I can demo it. Random pause there. I can demo it now. It's not on the actual centre stand. Actually, let me get you in a stand. Right, there we go. I've got my hands free now. So if it's on the stand, just jam this in to show the direction of the pipe, if nothing else. So that's the direction of the pipe that's going to come off. I'm going to snare. No, it's not too bad. What I can do, I'll whip you off the stand again and I'll show you the detail. Right, trying to show you the detail a bit there. A little scuff of paint there is where it hits the lock. Now all I need to do is just stick something on there. I weld on a nut or something just to hold that at a better angle, so that the oops, watch me thumb that, so that the side stand doesn't, centre stand doesn't come up quite so far. You know, something like that will give me a nice straight line. I think there's not a great deal of point me doing that until I find exhausts to fit, and they're going to have to be slightly more trumpeted than those straight pipes that I've got. But you know, they're going back, they don't fit anyway because they're advertised incorrectly. As you can tell, the weather is atrocious, so I'm going to wick off the tank, push the bike in and show you what I've got on the electrics. In a continued bid to avoid doing electronics until I'm in the right mood, my mudguards arrived. So I've just bought that top bit. The sides are the originals. They're all filled and painted. I'm not going to try and bluff anyone and say they're perfect. They're not by any stretch of the imagination, but they're not bad. I'm content with what I've got so far. I would have preferred a straight across, but I couldn't really find anything that was dirt cheap, and as I'm not sure about even keeping a mudguard at the moment, this will do. I've just dropped a bit of white chalk pen in there, so I'm just going to drill the holes and get that bolted on the top. Now, unlike old Del Boy, I'm not going to insult you by making you watch me do that, but I'll get that done and I'm going to throw it on the bike and see how it looks. Bit of an experiment for about £6.80, I think. And there we go, later. 4 holes later, I found some black bolts to chuck in it. I think that was pretty good. It's a bit lower at the front than the back, but frankly, you know, stone space I suppose, but that is very low at the front. But I don't know, it's better than nothing. It will do for now, I think, is the summary. And it distracted me from wiring for a little while. Now, as far as the wiring is concerned, I can't avoid it forever. Do have to do it at some point. I've plugged in at the front using the great method of if it fits, it fits. Still got a couple of spare bits kicking around, which is always slightly concerning, but I'll work all that out. The bit that I want to get done today while the weather's crap and I can do it undercover is really prepping, you know, the receiving end as much as anything else. So I've got a load of spades on the end of there. I do want to put, or males on that end. I've got the, let's jump that down there. I've got the fuse box that was with the old glass badges on there. I want to get that done next. I don't think I'll video it because I'm literally doing, you know, pair. Now obviously that's a temporary measure. They'll get done properly at some point afterwards. I just want to try and codge it together to see if I can make it work as much as anything else. And it's just got to make sure that I pair them off. I don't incorrectly pair them and end up blowing something before I've really started. So obviously I've got red and white, so I've got 2 browns, I've got red stripes. Yeah, it should be fairly simple to do. I'm going to hack those off. Is it Aldi? It was good to me. I've got a little set there with a slack handful of various bits and pieces that I need, so I'm just going to chop them off, chop the spades on so I can at least plug in that side of it. The bit that concerns me, the bit that I can't remember, is the starter solenoid wiring. I'm going to have to look that up. The rest of all of this, I mean, all of that is back end lighting, etc. So that's, you know, not the highest of my priorities, everything out of there, but it's the power in and the other bits that I need to sort out before I do anything else. But I'm going to get those shovels on because it's a nice, time consuming, dull but necessary thing that I need to do next. Right, for those that watch Doghouse Customs and Craig's channel, it's quite endearing when he changes his mind. It's not the same with me. Now I had the longer leads on the fuse box, and I realised that I didn't really need them. I thought I could do it straight off the wire, mostly because these shovel adapters, or whatever they're called, are shite. They really are, because they just crimp on. Trying to get them to stay on is a nightmare. I ended up stripping all of the covering off it so I could see what I was doing, and then just banging them in. And that's precisely what I've done. I did have to remove the ECI CDI, whichever one it is, because it was slightly in the way. I don't know if you can quite see around that. There you go, that bolt there, slightly in the way. It's not a problem. I can move it across a couple of or a few centimetres. It's fine. It's just popping these to do so. Yeah, utter balls ache. Really fiddly. Lots of swearing. You know, I'm not unaccustomed to swearing. But yeah, there was a lot there. I still don't like it because I'm now covered up the top, so I haven't got the cover on it. But I'm, you know, I've made no bones that this is all going to need tidying up. I just want it, you know, functional in inverted commas. Oh yeah, what a cold, fucking horrible wet day to do this in as well. I'm not really enjoying it, so I'm going to knock it on the head. It's a hobby, not a job. You gotta laugh. Just to add insult to injury, battery just died on the phone. I've pushed it away. The bike repair gods are not with me today, so fundamentally, why fight them? I've got the fuse box wired up. That's fine. It's not how it's going to end up because it's a bit rickety, and I'm not particularly happy with it. I need to look up how to wire up the power and the starter solenoid. There's a few other bits and pieces that I haven't got a home for a socket, but I'll be poring over the wiring diagram this evening, trying to work it out and looking up some old vids as well. On the plus side, always got to look for the plus side. I've got a sealed engine, I've got my plates in there, that's all squared away. I can't even remember if I mentioned that, it's been such a crap day. So that's all squared away, that's all fine. I have a sealed engine for the first time properly, I think, with all the right bits in it, in however long I've been doing this project. Silencers are a pain in the arse, but I'm going to hold me back. I'll go through returns process and all that sort of stuff and do a bit of shopping tonight to try and find something that does fit a 37mm outlet pipe, and something that's not quite so wide at the front so that I can actually use a brake at the back. So that's a night of shopping for that. Anything else, any other time I get, I'll start looking at the coils. I've just dragged them out so I can grab them out of the garage if I get any time this evening. Go through the coils, clean them up. I've got a new head on the top. Starting won't be this weekend, because while I was just checking to make sure that my spark boot was, my spare one would fit. It's not quite the same, but it'll do for now. Had a look at one of the sparks that came out. Can you focus, machine? There we go. And it's properly cheap. I think it's the one that was out with a dead head that I had to cut through, that I had to recut. So I'm going to need some new sparks anyway. So the you know, I'm not going to get to the point of starting up this weekend. That was always a bit of a pipe dream, so you know, I'm not overly annoyed about that, but it is a little frustrating because it's ruined my pipe dream for the weekend. Also going to do, obviously the carbs had a really good clean before, but that was a while ago. They've been out, they've been dusty, so they need a good blow down clean out. But you know, a functional clean, because it's just shit that's landed on it. You know, it's nothing terminal. The one bit that I do need to do, and why those caps are off, is look at the float heights on them, which I'll have a look this evening, and probably on the next, I'll try and have a look this evening. If I do get that done, I'll talk you through it. I do have fresh gaskets actually in the little cardboard box over the back that I'll chuck in. You can tell I'm having a bad day because it's, you know, 2/3 of the way through the afternoon, and I've opened a breakfast beer. I know some of you guys insult my choices of alcohol. Yeah, it's Foster's. It's effectively fizzy water. Right, that'll do me. What next? Fuck knows. All being well, what I would like to do is, if I get the carbs sorted, get them wrong, I'll rephrase that and do it in the order that I would like to do it in. I want to get the coils squared away first, get them mounted, get the carbs sorted, get them mounted, get the air filters on, sort out the starter, sort out the starter, the starter solenoid as to how that wires together, get that wired together, and then maybe see if I can get power through the bike and do things like lights, clocks, you know, etc. What I'm not going to do is try and start it, for the simple reason, I'm really short of oil. I might see if I can get some tomorrow. I'm really short of oil, and that is bone dry, apart from wet plates and all that sort of stuff, because I did soak them. But you know, it's be a fool's errand pushing that button, or trying to push that button with zero oil in it. As it is, I'm slightly concerned about starting it off once I've pushed oil into it, because it hasn't had any in there on the working parts for a long time. But yeah, a bit of a damp squib, literally, if you look at the weather. Oh, I've got the mudguard on. Don't particularly like it, but I've got the mudguard on. And we'll see how that works, and whether or not I keep it, I don't know yet. But you know, it's better than now, and particularly when you've got weather like that, probably a good idea. Right, that'll do me. The one saving grace is it ain't cold. He says, absolutely gibbering my arse off. I'm going inside to get warm. I'll catch you later. Cheers, ta-da.